Marilyn Monroe did not appear overnight. She was carefully constructed. Before the platinum hair, before the red lips, before the name itself, there was a young woman learning how to disappear so that something else could be seen. Becoming Marilyn was not just a makeover, it was a transformation born from survival, ambition, and longing. Norma Jeane understood early that being herself was not enough to be noticed. She had spent her childhood overlooked, unwanted, passed from place to place. Visibility had never been guaranteed. So when opportunity appeared, she did not hesitate. She learned quickly that Hollywood did not reward authenticity, it rewarded image. Her entry into modeling was accidental, but its impact was not. In front of the camera, something shifted. She relaxed, she focused. The lens seemed to understand her. Photographers noticed it immediately. There was softness, vulnerability, and an unspoken sadness that made people look twice. Norma Jeane was not confident yet, but the camera did not require confidence. It required presence, and she had that. The industry responded with suggestions. Change the hair, lighten it, style it differently, adjust the posture, soften the voice. Each suggestion came with a promise: be more appealing, be more marketable, be more desired. Norma Jeane listened, not blindly, but strategically. Reinvention felt familiar. She had been adapting her entire life. The name came next. Norma Jeane was gentle, ordinary, forgettable in Hollywood terms. Marilyn Monroe was not. The new name carried rhythm, elegance, mystery. Saying it felt like stepping into a role, and once she stepped in, she rarely stepped out. The physical transformation was deliberate. Platinum blonde hair replaced brown, makeup became armor, clothing highlighted curves that had once felt like liabilities. Each change moved her further from her past and closer to an idea Hollywood could sell. The mirror began reflecting someone else, someone bolder, someone safer to present to the world. But becoming Marilyn was not only about appearance, it was about behavior. She practiced expressions, studied gestures, observed actresses she admired. She learned how to walk into a room and command attention without speaking, how to pause, how to smile slowly, how to let silence work for her. Marilyn Monroe was not born, she was rehearsed. The voice followed. Softened, slowed, controlled, innocent yet suggestive. It was carefully calibrated, not natural but effective. Hollywood responded immediately. The contrast between childlike tone and adult presence fascinated audiences. They could not decide who she was, and that uncertainty made her magnetic. Inside, Norma Jeane watched carefully. She paid attention to what worked, what brought praise, what brought roles. Approval had always felt unstable to her. Now it was measurable. Applause, contracts, attention. Becoming Marilyn meant reducing risk. It meant becoming what people wanted before they could reject her. Studios encouraged the illusion. Marilyn was framed as playful, naive, effortless. Complexity was hidden, intelligence was downplayed, pain was erased. The image had to remain consistent, the fantasy had to stay intact. Norma Jeane learned that success depended on protecting the character, even at her own expense. This separation between self and image grew wider with each opportunity. Marilyn Monroe became famous, Norma Jeane became quieter. The more the world embraced the persona, the more distant the real person felt. Praise was abundant, but it was directed at the image. Love arrived, but it was conditional. Still, the transformation worked. Roles came, cameras adored her, audiences responded instinctively. She was unforgettable. Marilyn Monroe filled the screen in a way that felt effortless, even though nothing about it was. Every glance, every movement was intentional, controlled, crafted. Yet control came with cost. Living as an idea required constant maintenance. There was little room to rest, little room to fail. Marilyn could not age, change, or grow too visibly. Norma Jeane felt trapped behind the mask she had created. Becoming Marilyn solved some problems and created others. It offered visibility, security, and admiration. It also demanded sacrifice. The past was buried, not healed. The identity was split, not unified. The applause was loud, but it was never fully comforting. Still, there was power in the transformation. Marilyn Monroe was not just a fantasy, she was a strategy, a shield, a way out of invisibility. Norma Jeane had learned how to survive by becoming someone else. Hollywood simply amplified the skill. The world celebrated the arrival of Marilyn Monroe as if she had always existed. Few questioned where she came from. Fewer wondered what it took to sustain her. The illusion was complete. But beneath the perfection, tension was building. The image was getting bigger, the expectations heavier. The distance between the woman and the persona was growing. Becoming Marilyn was only the beginning. Keeping Marilyn would be much harder. Because once the world falls in love with an image, it rarely allows the person behind it to change. And that pressure would soon begin to shape everything that came next.